shoe on, another shoe thrown out the window while we were in a commercial break there, now giving it up on his hands and knees as they take him into custody.
Colleen, the driver behind the wheel of that Chevy Malibu right there, is all over the road, driving extremely erratically. This all started about 45 minutes ago, roughly, in the Compton area. LA County Sheriff was pursuing this driver through that area towards the Linwood area, and the driving, as I mentioned, has been extremely dangerous into oncoming lanes of traffic at times, off-roading at several points, eventually ending up on the 405 freeway where he has taken us all the way down to Orange County. The problem is the driving got so dangerous back into oncoming lanes of traffic here along Baker Street. Take a look at this. Another very erratic move here going the wrong way on Baker Street, a major intersection through the red light here. This is the type of driving we've been seeing for the better part of the last 20 to 30 minutes, and you can see now another dangerous move there as he tries to get closer to the freeway. Seems like he's not really comfortable with these surface streets. In any event, LA County Sheriff the pursuit, and it is now in tracking mode. CHP is now following along with us as they watch his movements from their airship. However, there are no units on the ground. Yet to be seen if Orange County agencies get involved in this pursuit, or if this remains in tracking mode again. California Highway Patrol is monitoring from the helicopter, and the driving has not really gotten any better. In fact, it's only gotten worse, as you can see, at times weaving all over the 405 freeway. A number of near misses and close calls, and now getting back onto the 405 freeway. That's going to be the ramp onto the southbound side of the 405 in the middle of rush hour. However, traffic surprisingly light as we get into the 7 o'clock hour here. You can see relatively light traffic, and he's doing about the speed limit as he makes his way onto the freeway here. We'll see if he speeds up. The speeds have not been extreme, but again, the competence behind the wheel has not been comforting at all. Looks like he's getting off the freeway here. That might be an exit ramp, or did we possibly lose a visual here? We'll try and pick it up once again here. That looks like him. I think that's him. Yep, that's him. Getting off of the 405 freeway. And it does not appear from our vantage point, Colleen, that there's anybody else inside the vehicle. Again, the want was DUI, and that explains a lot of the driving that we've seen. We haven't gotten a real clear visual of the driver, but the windows are very heavily tinted, so it's just very difficult to see when we are able to lay eyes on him. In any event, he's making his way now further south into Orange County, closer to the Costa Mesa area, and in towards Irvine, off the nose if he sticks with the southbound side of the 405. Again, very, very dangerous driving. That's why we are bringing this to you, even though law enforcement is trying to kind of let it breathe. California Highway Patrol does not have any units available to take over this pursuit. There was one a couple miles back that was nearby there, but so far we are not seeing California Highway Patrol engage the suspect, only watching from above as they track him further into Orange County. San Diego's CHP office has also been notified of this driver coming their way potentially if he does continue all the way south into their area. But in the meantime, it basically as a DUI driver cruising the 405, and while the driving was much more dangerous on surface streets, you can see while he isn't exactly signaling, he is just kind of cruising along, unaware almost that there's anybody overhead watching him. He's just on a massive joyride, but the driving, can't stress it enough, has been extremely dangerous throughout this pursuit, Colleen. That's exactly right, and now we've made our way off of the 405. He has ventured onto the 73 freeway, which is very lightly traveled at this time of the day, and you can see he's got lots of road to play with here. 3-lane freeway as he makes his way further down the coast here, but decided to get off of the 405 freeway, and he is kind of straddling that 1 and 2 lane. Doing about the speed limit for the most part. Again, California Highway Patrol tracking him from above, calling out the locations, and just making sure that the units ahead are situationally aware of what's coming their way in the event that the driving gets even more dangerous, or perhaps CHP or another agency, maybe a watch commander at CHP changes their mind as he makes his way into other jurisdictions, or perhaps other neighboring agencies here in Orange County change their mind and decide to get involved as well, especially if he does decide to get off of the freeway. Again, we're making our way further south through here, covering quite a bit of real estate in a fairly short amount of time, coming up on the Newport Beach area as he gets further south along the 73 freeway. That's going to be Bonita Canyon Drive off his hood there. We'll see if he gets off or just continues down the freeway. Eventually, of course, decides to get off again at any of these surface streets. Quite frankly, this is the type of chase, Colleen, where law enforcement and all of us would just rather see him spend as much gas as possible on the freeway and let this kind of fizzle out at some point, hopefully, with any hope, this will just come to a peaceful end on the freeway. It's when he gets off of the freeway where the driving is so much more unpredictable, much harder to pursue him, and the driving, the way he's been driving, just poses such a massive danger to every other motorist just trying to get home on a Tuesday afternoon. So we're going to keep close eyes on him here. We're holding just north of John Wayne Airport, waiting for clearance to cut across, and we come out on the other side of Irvine. We'll be getting a visual here in just a minute or so. We have temporarily lost sight of the suspect. That's a difficulty that we're going to have to deal with here. You can see one black and white, perhaps waiting for him. That's a CHP unit in that SUV, perhaps waiting for an opportunity to engage him, or perhaps just standing by and monitoring. We'll see what happens here, but it does not appear that he has passed that cruiser just yet. North, left, right there. So, Colleen, sorry, pardon me, we were just kind of guiding our way back in here on the other side of John Wayne. We've picked him up once again on the northbound side of Bonita Canyon Drive, coming up on Shady Canyon, where he has now gotten off the freeway. California Highway Patrol still has their airship overhead here, and now we'll see if perhaps either Orange County Sheriff's Department or another police department decides to get involved here. You're right, the traffic on the 405 freeway gave him lots of room to play with. Even when he was making his way through Linwood, there really wasn't a whole lot of traffic. Most of the congestion right now is mainly in the downtown LA area, and once you get past the county line, things really open up big time. At least today they are, and certainly you can see as he makes his way through these suburbs here in Orange County, as he makes his way, excuse me, let me just turn down the desk here, stand by 1 second. As he makes his way further north, on Bonita Canyon, traffic again, very light, very, very light all the way through here. So hopefully, again, less opportunity to actually pose a harm here. But what I do see is now three units trying to catch up with him. Okay, so we're going to keep the camera on him, but as I look out the window, I've just picked up 3 units, possibly CHP units, who are racing. They are racing Code 3 with lights and sirens up Bonita Canyon to try and catch up with him. So if he thought he had lost law enforcement, he's badly mistaken. They are racing up Bonita Canyon to try and catch up with that Chevy Malibu. They should be coming into the picture here any minute now. I counted 3 total, ready to put the pressure on this guy and perhaps bring this to an end. Thank you. Copy that. Okay, cool. Very good. Thank you. I'm going to let you relay Christina to me. Rob. Law enforcement right there through another intersection here. That's a red light, I think. Still northbound Culver Drive. Copy that, thank you. I did not hear that. Let me just double check that. We are in Irvine. Perfect. Thank you. 405. Back on the 405. 405 in Irvine. There's CHP. Minute away. Might be getting off. He's had a lot of head fakes, though, so. Riding the shoulder. 30 away. CHP is now engaged. Finally, he's had a lot of freedom for the better part of the last half hour, but now CHP really putting the pressure on him, chasing him onto the 405 freeway here in Irvine, getting closer to the El Toro Y as he got onto the 405 from Culver Drive. You can see that primary unit now about 10 car lengths behind him. Still weaving through traffic here, and just before we joined you, he was blowing through additional red lights, again, where there was a little more traffic here in Irvine, but once again now, the best place for this pursuit is on the 405, and that's where we find ourselves all the way in the fast lane now, as he makes his way further south through here at extreme speeds, knowing that there is now law enforcement behind him. Again, the driving never really calmed down too much or slowed down, but now he is definitely aware of the police presence right behind him. 1, 2, 3 units right behind him, a primary, a secondary, a backup unit, and that CHP helicopter. They have now decided to engage the suspect because the driving is just too dangerous. The weaving across lanes, the blowing through red lights, he's been riding the shoulder a lot of the time, and all of it is just a recipe for disaster, even though, fortunately, we can report the traffic is relatively light. Again, we're coming up on Jamboree here, getting close to the Irvine Spectrum and close to the 5 freeway, where the 5-405 split here at the El Toro Y, Colleen. Off of the freeway, it's kind of a head fake, and then he swerves to kind of think, yeah, he thinks he's in the movies. He's trying to lose the CHP officers, but it's just not going to happen. Now, this is interesting. He had an opportunity to get off there at Irvine Center Drive. He decided to stay on the freeway, but he's slowing down dramatically. The speeds are no more than 40 miles per hour now, as he either looks for an opportunity to get off or perhaps is maybe running low on fuel. That's always a possibility as well, but not going too fast here, despite the fact that here he has a police officer with his lights and sirens on right behind him. Thought we had a shot of the passenger seat earlier, and it appeared empty. I can't speak to the back seat. It does appear to be some belongings in the back seat, and I see his arm now moving around. He or she, we don't know, but does appear that he or she appears to be, it is a he. He is alone in the vehicle, now moving all the way over to the fast lane, and you're right, we can't get in his mind, we can't get in the mind of any pursuit driver, let alone the mind of somebody who is driving under the influence. It may very well be that he is enjoying this ride. It's a joyride where he's going to take his last few moments of freedom all the way to the end of the gas tank, or perhaps he has other ideas in mind. But you know, at this rate, considering we came from the Compton area, he was doing a lot of circles in that area. Came out, he was, I think, even in Long Beach at one point. Again, covered a lot of that area before deciding to get on the freeway for a long haul. So whether he has any business further south here or knows somebody or where he even resides, we don't even know where he's from, quite frankly. Although, if that's his vehicle, law enforcement probably does have an idea where he lives, and so they may be taking that into consideration in terms of their decision making. But in the meantime, the driving is what's really provoking law enforcement here. They have really debated on whether to take this over, whether to let it go. LA County Sheriff making the decision, you know what, this is not worth it. And once he left their jurisdiction, they definitely decided, okay, it's CHP's problem at this point. Now CHP has decisions to make, and they have their own protocols. You can see they have decided finally here in Orange County to deal with it a little bit differently than they did in LA County, because each of these CHP officers have their own bosses in control, and they are making their own decisions. So it's a very delicate dance, especially as you jump around between different jurisdictions, and down here in Orange County, lots of other smaller municipalities that could get involved if he gets off of the 5 freeway, which we are now firmly on the 5 freeway, heading down the Golden State at about 70 miles per hour, so doing about the speed limit now, all the way on the left side, as those CHP officers close in on him. And, we just don't know how much gas is in that tank. But the more he spends, on an open freeway like this, the better for everybody. And if he slows down like he did a little while ago and there's enough, enough clearance on the freeway, we could see one of those very unusual pit maneuvers on the freeway. We don't see them on the freeway. It's very rare, but we do see them occasionally. In fact, we've seen them a little more frequently in recent years when the opportunity presents itself. If he's going just slow enough and there really is nobody else in danger in this case, it looks like they have created a traffic break where nobody else can catch up with him. Nobody else can catch up with them because they have now formed a traffic break right behind him. That's very useful because that gives them an opportunity to execute a pit maneuver if he slows down just enough. Several lanes of freeway to play with here. We'll just have to see how they decide to handle it. Thank you. You got it. Hey, Christine, are you talking to me? Copy. Just kind of wait for when I'm like pausing or when Colleen's talking, because when I'm talking, we have a lot going on up here, but just kind of wait for me to pause before you jump on the two-way. Copy that. Let's call it San Juan Capistrano. Well, we're not there yet. Let's call it Laguna Hills. Laguna Hills. He, all of a sudden, as we came out of commercial break, picked up a lot of speed, swerved all the way over to the right lane, now getting off at Crown Valley Parkway, making a right turn off of the 5 freeway. Thought we were going to take this further south, but instead, he has decided to get off just south of Laguna Hills. He was really pushing it about 90 miles per hour as he was getting off the freeway. Now going a little bit slower as he travels down Crown Valley towards the coast here. CHP following him. They have no obstacles in their way, but he does have a red light here. So we'll see as we come around this building if he stops for the red light. Looks like he's going to try and either make a U-turn here or look at this, right through the red light, through the intersection for no reason at all. It almost looks like he was going to make a left turn, change his mind, but he is not fooling anybody. I mean, California Highway Patrol is coming through these intersections with their lights and sirens blaring. You saw everybody stop right there. And now they're right behind him once again as he slows down right under this overpass here. Not sure if he's coming to a stop or if he continues on here. He might be choosing up. Look at that, coming to a crawl. It almost looks, Colleen, I don't want to speak too soon, he may be running low on fuel. That is something that is kind of, it's just a guess on my part. We'll see if he picks up speed again. But it looks like he is either thinking about things, is very lost, appears very lost, or is running out of fuel, one or the other. Here comes the pit. Here comes the pit. Perfect speed for a pit. Fishtailing across Crown Valley Parkway. And now head to head with this CHP crew. Look at this. The driver's side door popping open. The driver jumping out of the vehicle. And he has now called it a day. CHP now out of their vehicles with their guns drawn. The driver taking his shirt off after just dumping the vehicle after that, a textbook pit maneuver, spinning the vehicle out of control. At that speed, it was pretty much a perfect opportunity for CHP, and you can't think of a more perfect or more peaceful way for this pursuit to come to an end. Now, it's just a matter of him making the right decisions. Canine officer is at the ready should he choose to pull a fast one here, but in the meantime, his hands and arms are now over his head, trying to take his shoes off maybe. maybe dropped his phone. We heard at one point CHP said that he threw a shoe out the window. So he's got one shoe on, another shoe thrown out the window while we were in a commercial break there, now giving it up on his hands and knees as they take him into custody. Absolutely, they are executing that felony stop now, taking him into custody and clearing the vehicle. You see that officer with his gun trained on the vehicle until they check all of those seats and the trunk. They're going to want to pop open that trunk just to be sure, and then they will give it a code 4, and it looks like everybody will go home safe tonight. You got it. Okay, copy that. Perfect, thank you. $90 seconds.